surprisingly elite season in 2018, where I was lobbying for him to get an All-Star appearance in a decent 2019 season. But he could be a downward fall. Rodriguez has seen his walks per nine inflate to 3.17 and his home runs per nine jump from 0.65 to a 1.93. This is seriously hurting Rodriguez and may be the end of his time in Pittsburgh if he struggles this season. In the exhibition game against Indians on Saturday, he surrendered 4 earned runs and walked a batter in his only inning of work. Could this be a sign of things to come? The unknown. Lastly, this bullpen will consist of a few guys who we really don't have much of an idea of an impact they will make. The opening day roster has been set, and among the names rounding out the bullpen include non-roster invitees Robbie Erlin and Nick Turley, who haven't really had a chance to show what they can do in a MLB bullpen. Clay Holmes, who has struggled in parts of 2 seasons with the team. Prospect JT Brubaker has quietly pitched very well in the system, and if not for an injury, would have seen a lot of time with the team last season. We should also see Jeff Hartley at some point, and he still has potential to join this pen for years to come. And when it comes to the unknown, there really is a lot of it. There's Robbie Erlin, there's Nick Turley, there's Clay Holmes, there's JT Brubaker, and Robbie Erlin is much more of a known than Nick Turley. Erlin he showed what he could do in an MLB bullpen with the Padres last year, but he needs to repeat that this year. He could be a solid lefty, and if Erlin turns positive, Nick Turley has some good stuff coming from the left-hand side. Clay Holmes looked great last night, and JT Brubaker, he's quietly been pitching very well, and it's really unfortunate that he got injured last year, because if not, he sure as hell would have seen a lot of time with the Pirates last season. And Jeff Hartley still has a ton of potential. I'm surprised he was left off the opening day roster, and he still, again, has the potential to join the pen for years to come. And when it comes to the bad, for me, with Neverauskas, Crick, and Rodriguez, we'll start off with Rich Rod again, and the fact that he needs to have that short leash. And, he was a borderline and should have been an all-star in 2018, but just struggled last year, despite the deceivingly low ERA. And Crick, too, it's just like every time he gets on the mound, it's like you just don't feel good anymore because, I honestly think there's an injury under the surface that we don't know about with Crick, because his fastball velocity is way down, his slider velocity is way down. He's just not the same pitcher that he was in 2018. And it's just upsetting. And Neverauskas, too, he's one of those guys where he has the stuff, but the stuff really just doesn't play. We saw what he could do in his 25 and a third innings this rookie season, but outside of that, Neverauskas has been awful. He really, really has struggled. And the struggles were so bad that I was shocked that he made the opening day roster. And listen, I hope Crick, I hope Neverauskas, I hope Rodriguez all prove me wrong, because they all have outstanding potential. And if the bat of this bullpen and Neverauskas, Crick, and Rodriguez can step up, if some of the unknowns like Erlin and Turley and Holmes and Brubaker, maybe you get Hartley in there. There is good in this bullpen. There's Birdie. There's Kella, there's Feliz, there's Stratton. Cedarland should be coming up at some point in 2020. There's a lot to get excited about, but at the same time, the bad seems to outweigh the good, because guys that we expect to be good in Crick and Rodriguez just aren't. They're not good relief pitchers. And listen, I'm not trying to be a downer on this Pirates team. I'm not trying to say they're going to have a bad season. I still think they have an opportunity to go 30-30 and be a 500 team, borderline contending. They have all the pieces there. It's just a matter of the pieces coming together, and that's the case with a lot of teams. A lot of teams can say that they have the pieces, that they have the stuff, the makings of a good MLB roster. But it's honestly time to worry about Crick. It's beyond time to worry about Rich Rod. Past time to worry about Neverauskas. And I think rather than focus on the bad, feel good about the good in Birdie, and Kella, and Feliz, and Stratton, and Cedarland. Those guys are going to be a part of the pen for years to come. Kella maybe not so much, but just the bullpen is going to be a struggle this season, and I'm trying to convince myself it's not, but just every angle that I look at it's going to be a struggle session for the Pirates bullpen in 2020. After announcing the opening day roster, there are 3 players that are some of the more intriguing names for fans of the Pittsburgh Pirates to keep an eye on early in the 2020 season. Happy opening day, friends. The Pirates announced a 30-man opening day roster earlier this week. These 30 players will be the players that the Pittsburgh Pirates will go to war with to start the 2020 season. While rosters will eventually have to be trimmed down to 28 players and then down to 26, for now at least teams will have 30 players at their disposal. With 4 more spots than what was planned on the rosters, that means that every team has a couple of intriguing names that made the final cut that probably would not have made it under normal circumstances. But 2020 is not normal, and the Pirates have a few of those guys on their roster as well. These 3 are the more intriguing names to keep on to start this year. Left-handed relief pitcher Nick Turley. Nick Turley is one of the 4 left-handed pitchers to make the Pittsburgh Pirates roster. However, as of right now, only he and Robbie Erlin are the only ones projected to be bullpen arms to open 2020. Turley was claimed off waivers by the Pittsburgh Pirates from the Minnesota Twins way back in November 2017. Turley hasn't seen the major leagues since that year. With the Twins, the lefty only appeared in 17 2/3 innings, but surrendered 22 earned runs on 5 home runs, 30 hits, and 8 walks. However, in AAA during 2017, he was a quite solid swingman. In 67 2/3 innings, the lefty had a 2.66 ERA, 1.18 WHIP, and 2.84 FIP. He also struck out at quite a few batters, registering a 28.9% strikeout rate and walking just 8.1% of the batters he faced. Turley allowed 4 long balls for a 0.5 home runs per 9. Not only was 2017 the last year Turley was in the MLB, but the last year he was even in professional ball. After being claimed off waivers, Turley tested positive for PEDs, which led to an 80-game suspension in 2018. After being activated from the restricted list, Turley was placed on the 60-day injured list with an elbow strain. He missed all of 2019 as well, with elbow issues still facing him. However, the Pittsburgh Pirates claimed Turley for a reason. His fastball can reach into the 93 to 94 mile per hour range and sits in the top 99th percentile in spin rate. He also has a curveball that sits in the top 85th percentile spin rate as well. If he can do somewhat well, Turley could be an attractive trade piece come this winter. Next guy is outfielder Jason Martin. Jason Martin was one of the pieces in the Pittsburgh Pirates that the Pirates acquired in the Garrett Cole trade, but he's yet to establish himself in the Pirates organization. Last year, Martin got off to a hot start at AAA. Through his first 289 plate appearances of 2018, he was batting for a .325 average, .392 on base, and a .522 slugging with 9 home runs and 13 doubles. All told, having an outstanding 152 WRC+ and 403 WOBA. But once he was promoted to AAA, the wheels fell completely off. His next 234 plate appearances saw him hit for just a .211 average, a .270 on base, and a .319 slugging with just 12 more extra base hits. Martin's WRC+ fell by nearly 100%, down to just 65, while his WOBA fell dramatically to 268. Last year Martin spent most of his time at Indianapolis, but turned in a .259 average, .312 on base, .419 slugging, 8 home runs, 25 doubles, and an 83 WRC+. Martin did make his Major League debut in 2019, but he didn't do any better. Through 40 plate appearances with the Pirates, Martin just hit for a .250 average, .325 on base, and a .306 slugging, with a .282 WOBA and 72 WRC+. Defensively, he isn't going to wow anyone. His short amount of time in the majors saw him have a -3 DRS, -1 arm runs above average, -0.3 range runs above average, and a -1.4 UZR. Fangraphs only gives him a future grade of 50 fielding with a 50 arm throw grade. Martin does provide some value as a base runner. He did have 1.6 base running runs above average during his major league stint. He also clocked in with a 28.1 feet per second sprint speed, which ranks in the top 76th percentile of runners in 2019. With the way extra innings work and other guys who are more capable in the outfield like Adam Frazier and Guillermo Heredia, Martin will likely not see too many chances to hit and mainly used as a pinch runner. So the three intriguing guys that I think we should keep an eye out for this year are, at least early in the season, are Turley, Jason Martin, and we have our next guy I want to take a look at is utility man Phillip Evans. Phillip Evans kind of appeared out of nowhere, but is making the Pittsburgh Pirates roster. Evans, a former New York Mets farmhand, has only appeared in 34 MLB games, that being in 2017 and 2018 with the Mets. He only collected 61 total plate appearances and getting 13 hits, 2 of which were doubles, walked 6 times, and struck out 16 times. Last year, Evans spent the entire 2019 season with the Chicago Cubs AAA affiliate. He didn't do all that bad, hitting for a .283 average, a .371 on base, and a .470 slugging with 17 home runs. While that might be pretty good production at the AAA level, remember he did play in the Pacific Coast League. In the same league where the league leader in home runs, Kevin Crone, slammed 38 in just 82 games, and 2019 Rookie of the Year hit 23 in just the 50 games before he was called to the majors. All told, there were 63 20-plus home run hitters, but Evans still clocked in with a 106 WRC+, making him 6% above average. Evans has a AAA slash of a .276 average, .351 on base, and a .464 slugging, with 42 home runs through 1,294 plate appearances. He also had a solid 9.3% walk rate at the level, but an impressive 15.1% strikeout rate at the level. During the preseason this year, Evans was outstanding. While it was a very small sample size of 33 plate appearances, he hit for a .333 average, a .405 slugging, and a .636 slugging with 2 home runs and 4 doubles. He could be a solid right-handed platoon with Colin Moran until Key Brian Hayes' service time clock is ready. After all, he hit southpaws for a .349 average, .430 on base, and a .550 slugging in 2019. Even if he can carry over any semblance of that production versus left-handed pitchers in 2020, he might be a solid bench bat and platoon man. So again, the three guys, Turley, Martin, and Evans. So let's take a look in the last couple of minutes we have here, the upcoming week for the Pirates. Let's see what they've got. So, today, Trevor Williams goes up against Adam Wainwright. Tomorrow, Mitch Keller against Dakota Hudson to wrap up the series. And the Pirates have their home opener on Monday, where Stephen Brault will start against Adrian Hauser. In that game with Brault, Cole is likely to piggyback him, but they also have other options such as JT Brubaker. And it's really going to depend, Derek Shelton said, on how it works with, the bullpen usage over the next 2 games. Tuesday will be Derek Holland going up against former Pirate Josh Lindblom. On Wednesday, I would imagine Joe Musgrove gets a start against Brandon Woodruff, but that is still yet to be announced. And Friday, I would imagine it is Trevor Williams. The Pirates have the off day on Thursday. Don't know who would go for the Cubs in that game. That is still to be determined. But to the Pirates, a little bit of a tough schedule here, as they have 2 with the Cardinals, 3 with the Brewers, and 2 with the Cubs coming up this week. But I'm still expecting some good things, and really what I want out of this week is just for us to come out of it with a 500 record. Just win the games, win half the games, lose half the games. I'd be happy with that. But ultimately, it's going to be fun. I'm just happy that baseball is back. I can get upset all I want, and I could have went on a prolonged rant. I did have a segment about Derek Shelton and me being upset about him going with Rich Rod over Michael Flees and Nick Birdie. But that's just going to about do it for our show today. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I'm just so happy that baseball is back, and it's going to be a fun week. And we're just here to hope that the Pirates get a win this week. I'd really like to be back here, have a win, have maybe even a winning record, and they could honestly be in first place by this time next week. Be in first place in August by next week. Let's get excited about that. Give me a follow on Instagram at BucksDugout for all your up-to-date Pirates news, updates, scores, lineups, we do it all there. I'll be back here next Saturday at noon to break down the week of Pirates baseball. In the meantime, have a great, safe, and healthy week, everybody. Stay safe out there. As always, let's go Bucks, and I can't wait to watch a full week of meaningful baseball on AT&T Sportsnet. Have a great week, everybody.